Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brittany. I'm a Chicago-based lifestyle content creator and I'm literally about to head out. I mean, I probably should already be leaving, but as soon as I finish recording right here, heading to the airport and flying from Chicago to Memphis for the weekend. So it is Saturday the 18th at like 7:02 a.m. and it's Martin Luther King weekend. It's a long weekend and I'm going to Memphis. Like I just said, I've never been there before, so I am really excited to go just because I feel like I hear mixed reviews about Memphis, but there's a lot of really cool history there, a lot of good food. So I'm excited for this quick little trip. I was initially going on this trip solo, but as of last week, my mom decided to join me. So I'm meeting her at the airport. She's a layover. She's flying like from Cincinnati to Chicago, and then we're on the same flight from Chicago out to Memphis. So we'll be there pretty much exactly like 48 hours. Like I land today at 11 and then my flight leaves back out on Monday at I think 2-ish. Initially I had planned, was hoping to plan to go to DC for the inauguration this weekend when my girl Kamala was on the ticket. And I mean, I booked that like way back in July. Everything was refundable, obviously, because you never know. And based on the results of the election, that obviously did not happen. So when I canceled that trip, I still kind of wanted to go somewhere this weekend because there's no way I was going to be tuning in to the inauguration as it stands and letting that like have a cloud over my weekends. And in Memphis, there is like I said, there's a lot of history. The National Civil Rights Museum is there, which I didn't realize until after I booked my trip, and then I was like finding things to do. So that will be really, really cool because it obviously is where Martin Luther King himself, where his life ended. And so there is a museum built at the motel where he was shot. So that will be a really, actually I think we're going to that today. Yeah, we're going this afternoon. So that will be like kind of cool to see, like actually like, and I don't know if they'll do anything special to commemorate Martin Luther King since it is Martin Luther King weekend. And then tomorrow we're going to the Stax Museum. So Stax, like the record label, like they have a museum there. Like I think literally where the studio used to be. Eat some good food. We're staying at a hotel on Beale Street, which that will be really cool too, to like see that area. But anyway, like I said, I need to head out to the airport. I literally need to leave like right now. My flight's at 9:15. And so, I mean, it'll take me like I'm flying on a midway. So I feel like it'll take me about a half hour to get there. So I mean, I'm doing fine on time. I'm just starting to panic for literally no reason. So anyway, let's head to the airport and I'll see you in Memphis.
In 1955, if you had...
And at a distance where the police couldn't say they were interfering with their arrest or their detention.
It's Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday now, coming to you live from Memphis. So I mean, I've been here for almost 24 hours, or less than 24 hours now. It's only 9:30 in the morning. We got in around like actually a little bit later than planned, like maybe 11:15. Our flight like was left a little delayed. It took us like maybe only 20 minutes or so to get from the airport to our hotel. And this hotel is pretty cute. I think I said this earlier, but it's like kind of right off of Beale Street. It's the Caption by Hyatt hotel. It's connected to a Hyatt Centric, and the Caption by Hyatt seems like it's just a little bit like, it's, I think, completely fine for like what I need in a hotel, but it's like less amenities almost. Like the main Hyatt is where like the front desk and stuff is, and this is just like a little offshoot. It seems like there's literally maybe 5 other people in this whole hotel. We're on the 9th floor out of 10. The hotel is nice. The room is nice. It's in a convenient location. So when we got here yesterday, we went to go eat because we hadn't really eaten all day. We hadn't eaten yet for the day, and so we went to Gus's world famous fried chicken, which I've actually been to in Chicago. There's a location in the West Loop, so I've been before, and only once though, and that was good. And so my mom wanted to go, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good, and it's like right around the corner. It was even better here. And also when I got in Chicago, I got it to go because it was like the late night, like after a Halloween bar crawl. It was really good eating it like in the restaurant, so that was good. And then we went to the National Civil Rights Museum. I cannot recommend that museum enough. I honestly think a trip to Memphis, if you only went to that museum alone, would be worth it. It was just really, really good. Like it was really impactful, I guess I should say. I think especially in this like era that we're living in the US specifically, where people are trying to rewrite history and learn, and like equity and inclusion is being like decentered, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways. Just like, and I was saying this to my mom, I was like, I feel like I love history, so like I've always like really wanted to learn a lot about history. Like I learned a lot about history in school. I've taken like Black experience classes in college. I go to like museums. Like I'm always like taking in information, yet I feel like every time I go to a museum or something like this, there's still so much that's new to me that I've never learned before, and that is like, to me that's just so crazy. And even my mom was saying too, like specifically, so the exhibits start basically like when you walk in. Oh, there's a really cool HBCU part of it, like actually right before you start into the True Museum, about the Southern Heritage Classic, which takes place in Tennessee. And so it like highlights HBCUs, why they're important, like what the Southern Heritage Classic is about. So I thought that was a cool way to start like the museum overall. And then when you really get into like the start of the like True exhibit, or the first exhibit, it starts with the Middle Passage. So like Africans being kidnapped and taken to the Americas, which like that's where the story begins for the civil rights movement truly in America. And so then you go through, basically you literally you start from there and then get pretty much to Martin Luther King's assassination. And my mom was even saying too, like, and this is what's so frustrating to me when people talk about like civil rights and say like, oh, this was so long ago. A lot of the things that are like happened that we were like seeing in the exhibit happened in my mom's lifetime, and she like that, like think about that. So anyway, it was really cool. It was just really impactful the way that it was set up. And like I said, I feel like I learned more that I didn't know before. And then it closes with you walk through you walk into like the hotel, you get to see, or you see the room where like Martin Luther King in his room at the Lorraine Motel right before he was assassinated. So, and that's like where it ends. So I don't know, I thought it was really impactful, really moving. And again, I think especially in this era that we are living through, it's important to not forget history. So from there, then we went to, then we just came back to the hotel and chilled for a little. My mom's phone was dead, like at 0. So she wanted to charge her phone and she took a little nap. And then we went out like to Beale Street to get like a light dinner. And we kind of just, I wanted to go to this record store. It's like a record store and like a souvenir shop all in one, like right on Beale Street. It was actually closed. Online it said it was open, but it's closed this whole week. It reopens tomorrow, so I do want to go tomorrow before we leave. And then we were just gonna find somewhere to eat, and we ended up going to this place called Alfred something on Beale Street. There was live music. The band was really, really good. That was out. I will say it seems pretty dead, which I'm like in general kind of surprised by because it's a weekend. I mean, it is cold here, like pretty cold. Like it's only the high of 20 something today. So that's cold, but I mean, it's also winter time and like put a jacket on, I guess. But I don't know I think this is like really cold for this area. So I don't know if that's why like fewer people are out, but it's really dead, like in a way that I was surprised by, because I was kind of expecting Beale Street to be kind of like, because I feel like kind of like New Orleans-ish, like Bourbon Street, but not quite that wild. There was like no one really out. So anyway, but the place we went to was really good for food. And then we had like I had like a drink too. So today we are about to leave in maybe like about an hour. Yeah, about an hour to go to the Stax Museum. And so I'm really excited for that. I think that'll be really cool. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna go to BB King's Blues Club for like a late lunch. And then I still do want to go to 1 or 2 record stores, maybe walk around, like, and like those are the main things we have planned for today. So overall, like this is a pretty like fun and cool place to visit, I think. But I'll be back with an update once we do all those activities I talked about. we're back where we started at the beginning of the vlog, back at home in my apartment in Chicago. So obviously I'm no longer in Memphis, but I wanted to like close out the vlog and do a quick little haul of some things that I bought while I was there. But okay, since I was last on, we went to the Stax Museum. That museum tour was really cool. I mean, it's literally in the studio, like the former studio. And it was cool to go to that the day after going to the Civil Rights Museum, because they kind of like go hand in hand in a lot of ways, just because when Stax was like starting as a label, it was in the 60s. So there's obviously like, this was like in the Jim Crow era. And Stax, and I didn't really know this until doing this tour, like Stax was actually founded by like a white brother and sister, and then they had both white and black artists on the label, which was pretty much unheard of at the time, especially in a place like Memphis, to have like two, and it was in South Memphis, which is a pretty black neighborhood. And so it was kind of like this thing that nobody really was doing anywhere else. And it was like, I mean, it was good and bad, obviously. Like they had to figure out how to like navigate a world where it's like black people are not allowed to go in these spaces, or white and black people are not allowed to be together in these certain types of spaces, like if they were traveling with their artists and stuff. So they had to like navigate that. But then a lot of that music became like the soundtrack to the civil rights movement in a lot of ways. And then especially once Martin Luther King was assassinated in Memphis, they like a lot of the artists were like, okay, well, basically they felt like they needed to carry the torch, or like pick up the torch and like start making music that was more like revolutionary. So it was a really cool like museum. I did get a couple of souvenirs there. So I got, because like of course I can't leave anywhere without buying a few things. So okay, I got this slip mat for my record player, which the one I have on now is just the basic one that came with my record player. When I was in Stockholm, I went to this really cool record store, and I considered buying a slip mat there, and I ended up not getting it, and I've been regretting it since then. My friend Sam got one, and I've been regretting not getting it. And then I saw this one, and I feel like this speaks more to me and who I am. So it just says Stax Museum of American Soul Music. So I was excited to get this. And then I also just got a little postcard, just a Memphis, Tennessee postcard, and it also says the name of the museum on it. I've been like kind of starting to collect postcards from places that I travel, mostly because I want to make, started like when I went to New Orleans last year. I just randomly bought a bunch of postcards at like an artist fair. And so I'm trying to like, I'm probably gonna be moving into a new place in a couple months. And so I want to like make, one of the things I want to like do when I set up that space is make like a gallery wall, a new gallery wall, and like incorporate in a lot of the postcards and prints and stuff that I've got in from places that I've traveled. So okay, so we did that. And then after that, I think we just went to lunch at BB King's Blues Club, which is down on Beale Street. So we walked back over there. The food was really good. Our Uber driver had told us that the food was like not that great there. She was like, it's okay. I actually thought it was really good. It's barbecue mostly. So me and my mom actually ended up getting the same thing. We got different cocktails, but we got the same type of food, like meal, which was just some ribs. The ribs were falling off the bone. They were really good. And then there was also live music there, which was cool. And the band that was playing was really, really good. And the band, I don't remember if I said this, but the band that we saw the night before was really good too. And my mom was like, how is everybody so talented in Memphis? And like, they just were like one of the guys was literally sitting down eating at a table behind us. And then he got up and started playing. He was like, oh yeah, I'm here with the band, blah, blah, blah. So we did that. And then I went to a record store. They were still doing their set. There was a record store I wanted to go to that was close by, and I think they were gonna be closing like an hour or two. So I left. My mom stayed to listen to the end of that band's set. But I went to River City Records, which was like a block or two, or like maybe like less than a 5-minute walk from, it was like in that Beale Street area, so less than a 5-minute walk from BB King's Blues Club. And okay, I'm looking at my receipt, and the tax in Memphis is 9.75% for sales tax, which, I mean, in Chicago it's like 10.25, but I feel like people always make such a big deal out of how expensive the sales tax is here, but like this is high too, and I feel like the cost of living is lower in Memphis. So anyway, that record store was really cool. There was a sweet little man that worked in there that was like super friendly and very nice, and it was an interesting like mix of records. I was like really wanting to go to record stores there because I was hoping there'd be like really good like soul, blues, like a lot of older records that I don't really find in a lot of other places. This store had still mostly like new records, but I did end up getting, I don't think I have never seen this at a record store. I haven't paid it. Also, maybe I just haven't been paying attention. But this is Aretha Lady Soul. And so this has like Chain of Fools. And what else is on here? Natural Woman. I feel like those are like, oh, Ain't No Way. Those are like the biggest songs from this. So this was released in 1968. So I got this. And then after that, we just like went back to the room and chilled for like hung out for a little while. And it was so, I think I said this, but it was really cold in Memphis. Like it was like today, the high was only in the 20s, I think. And then yesterday, maybe it got up to, if even 30 degrees, which I mean, granted I live in Chicago, so I'm used to cold weather, but I wasn't expecting it to be that cold. And I didn't have like my big like winter coat. And I also feel like, I wonder if that's why it like felt so dead everywhere, because obviously in Memphis they're not quite, it's like not normal weather at all, even for winter time, because like there just weren't a lot of people out like at all anywhere. So anyway, after that we went for dinner to the Rum Boogie Club or Cafe, which is also down on Beale Street. And yet again, another live band that was so good. And my mom literally was like, how is everyone like so good? Like, can everyone in Memphis just sing and play an instrument? And then our server, all of a sudden he gets up on stage and starts singing. And we were like, so literally everyone here can sing. And like I said, everyone was so good. So we ended up staying there for maybe almost 2 hours. Like the food was pretty good, but then the band was just really, really good. Like they were singing a mix of like contemporary, like kind of like everything. Like I feel like when we came in, they were singing like some Maroon 5, some Erykah Badu, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, literally every, like across the whole, like whatever, any like artist that's a little soulful, I feel like. So they were really good. And then today we went to breakfast at Hustle and Dough, which was down kind of right by the Civil Rights Museum. And so since we were over there, I was like, oh, since today is MLK Day, I was curious if they'd be doing anything like particular, like anything special for the day. And they had like a stage set up and there were speakers and stuff. It was just like a little too cool to be standing out there. Cause like we'd already been to the museum on Saturday and it sounded like they were doing almost like there was like musical guests, I think, that were supposed to be over there too. So we just kind of walked by that and then walked over to the store that I really wanted to go to originally, which is called Memphis Music, again on Beale Street. And so it's like a record store, but also like a souvenir shop. There's not a lot of cool stuff in there. And it was a sweet little old black lady that, like, I think she was the owner of the store. So she was so cute. I was obsessed with her. They had a lot of really cool records in there. So I ended up getting 2 records. I know for sure one of these is an unofficial release, so a bootleg, because it's never been pressed on vinyl, but it's something it's like one of my favorite albums, and it's always on my wish list. But like anytime I've even ever seen it pop up on Discogs, it's usually like $80. And then another one is an album that I think that this is also an unofficial release, so a bootleg, but I'm not 100. I think it has to be, just because of how low the price was, because it was $40, but it's an album that's like, not that $40 is low, because I'm really trying to not spend a lot of money on vinyl, like trying to like spend like lower dollar amounts when possible. But okay, so anyway, just now that I've like hyped them up, so the 2 albums that I got were Everything Is Love by the Carters. I love this album. This is something I know has never been pressed on vinyl. So, and I was looking, like I said, I look on Discogs. I have it on my Discogs wish list, and whenever it has been available for sale, it's usually like in the $70–80 range. So it was like $38 there. So and like most of the reviews say that on Discogs say like that the pressings are pretty decent. So I don't know what color this is. So because there was like a pink marble, I think, and like some like other version that I saw as like different releases on Discogs. So anyway, I love this album. I'm really excited to have this on vinyl. And then the other one that I got that I was like, I think that this is probably a bootleg too, because this album is hard to come by. Tracy Chapman, self-titled. So this was the one that was, it was $41. And I, like, when I saw this, I literally went, and it stopped me in my tracks, because I love Tracy Chapman and I love this album. And it's like really, because it has not been repressed since 1988, the year I was born. And it's just it's really, really tough to come by. So I was like, even if this is an unofficial release, I'm still gonna buy it. And then on Discogs, when I was looking at all the like the different releases of this that are on vinyl, even the ones that, which I'm assuming like if it's one of the unofficial releases on there, people said it sounded really good and like looked good too. And the quality of like the cover looks pretty decent. So I was excited to get both of those. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on spending that kind of money or like getting those, but I could not walk away without those. So that's what I got. And then basically right after that, we walked back to our hotel and went to the airport. My mom actually is still technically in Memphis because her flight wasn't until, like my flight was at 2:30 and hers wasn't until 5, and it's 5:30 now, or her flight was at 5:30, I think. And it's 5:30 now, and I'm already like fully at home because it's only, like we left at like 2:30. We landed at like a little after 4. I got home and here I am. So all in all, I really loved Memphis. Like I liked Memphis a lot. Like I said, it was pretty dead in a lot of the places that we were going to. So I don't know if in the summertime it's more like there are more people out, but that didn't really bother me. It was kind of nice in some ways. Like we didn't really ever have to wait in line for anything. And like service at the restaurants was really fast because none of them were super crowded. Everyone was so nice everywhere that we went. Like every restaurant that we went to, all of the museums that we went to, the people that worked there were just like so nice. And I mean, it's the South, so it's that Southern hospitality, but everyone was just so like genuinely warm and nice everywhere, and like seemed like they loved what they were doing. Like whatever restaurant we were at seemed like they loved working there. Whatever museum we were at seemed like they loved being there. And I feel like Memphis is a city that like I don't hear people talk about in general a lot, and I feel like it gets like talked down about a lot. So it was a really cool place. Like there's a lot of really cool history there, especially like Black history, and I just feel like it's a good place. Like if you're looking for somewhere to go for like a quick weekend trip, I think this is like the perfect place, because I mean I was there for 48 hours and that was like the perfect amount of time. There are one or two things maybe if it was nicer out we would have done, but like I feel like I did a lot of the core things that like I wanted to do. And it was, everywhere was super walkable. I felt really safe everywhere that I was, or everywhere that we were. Nothing was too crazy expensive. Like even the hotel that we stayed at, it was like $130 or something a night, and it was like walking distance, like a block from like where the Beale Street Entertainment District is. And just like nothing was too like I don't know, it was just like a really easy place to go visit. And I'm really trying to like I love to travel. I go a lot of places in general, and like I love my big trips obviously, but I'm also trying to like go on smaller trips like this more often, because there are just so many places, especially in the US, to go to, and everything doesn't have to be some like extravagant vacation, and it's just good to like explore and find, like learn new things and see new places. So anyway, all that to say, I did really love Memphis. So if you've ever been to Memphis, would love to hear like what you thought, or if you're planning on going. If you're from Memphis, like if there's more stuff I should do the next time I visit, let me know. But if you enjoyed this vlog, which I hope you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. At the end of this video, I'll link to my travel playlist, which has other like travel vlogs from the trips I've done over the past few years. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.